What if I told you that right now, tonight, while you're sleeping, your eyes are either quietly repairing themselves or quietly falling apart? And the deciding factor isn't your age, it isn't your genetics, and it isn't how much screen time you had today. It's something far more controllable than any of that. It's what you drink, or don't drink, in the 2 hours before you close your eyes. I've been practicing medicine for years, and the single most consistent pattern I see between patients who maintain sharp, healthy vision into their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and patients who are sitting across from me at 55 with the early stages of macular degeneration or cataracts forming, is not their family history. It's their daily habits. And one of the most powerful habits I've ever come across for long-term eye health costs less than $1 a night and takes 5 minutes to make. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly what to drink before bed, exactly why the science supports it, and exactly what you need to stop doing tonight that might be silently destroying your vision. I'm Dr. Emily Walker, and this might be the most important health video you watch this year. Let's start with something most people have never been told. Your eyes don't rest when you sleep. That's a myth. What actually happens when you close your eyes at night is one of the most sophisticated repair operations in the human body. Your retina, the thin, light-sensitive tissue at the back of your eye, is pound for pound one of the most metabolically demanding tissues in your entire body. It burns more oxygen per unit of weight than your heart muscle. All day long, it processes millions of photons of light, generates electrical signals, manages oxidative stress, neutralizes free radicals, and works under conditions of constant biochemical pressure. By the time you go to bed, your retina has run a full marathon, and nighttime is when it finally gets to recover. During sleep, your eyes enter what researchers call the retinal pigment epithelium recycling cycle. This is the process by which the support cells behind your photoreceptors, the rods and cones that allow you to see color, detail, and movement, repair themselves, clear out metabolic waste, and prepare for the next day. Simultaneously, your intraocular pressure drops, giving your optic nerve a brief but critical period of relief. Your body's melatonin levels rise, and here's something that genuinely surprises most of my patients. Melatonin isn't just your sleep hormone. It is one of the most potent antioxidants your body produces, and your eyes concentrate it more heavily than almost any other organ. Melatonin receptors are found throughout your ocular tissue, in the retina, the ciliary body, the lens, and melatonin actively participates in protecting those tissues from oxidative damage while you sleep. Here's the critical piece that ties all of this together. Every single one of these overnight repair processes, the RPE recycling, the optic nerve decompression, the melatonin-driven antioxidant activity, depends entirely on having the right raw materials available in your bloodstream during those sleeping hours. Your retina is reaching into your circulatory system for specific antioxidants, specific carotenoids, specific anti-inflammatory compounds. If those materials are there, the repair cycle runs efficiently. If they're not, if your bloodstream is running low on exactly what your eyes need most, the repair is incomplete. And incomplete repair, repeated night after night, year after year, decade after decade, is precisely how you end up with age-related macular degeneration, cataracts, glaucomatous nerve damage, and chronic dry eye disease years or decades before they should appear. The World Health Organization estimates that 2.2 billion people worldwide currently live with vision impairment. Nearly half of those cases were entirely preventable, not treatable. Preventable. The habits that allow that damage to accumulate silently start long before any symptoms ever appear. So tonight, I'm going to give you the most evidence-backed, nutrient-targeted bedtime drink for eye health that exists in the current scientific literature. This is a specific formulation, not just warm turmeric milk the way you've seen it described everywhere, but a precise combination of 5 compounds, each chosen for a specific documented role in protecting and repairing ocular tissue. Let me take you through it ingredient by ingredient, because understanding the why is what will make you consistent with this. The base of this drink is warm, full-fat milk, either whole dairy milk or full-fat, unsweetened coconut milk. The fat content is not optional, and it is not negotiable. 4 of the 5 key compounds in this drink are fat-soluble, meaning they require dietary fat present in your gut at the time of consumption in order to cross the intestinal wall and enter your bloodstream. Without fat, you are swallowing compounds that will pass through you without ever reaching the tissue that needs them. This is one of the most common and most costly nutritional mistakes people make, consuming the right things in the wrong way and wondering why nothing changes. The first and most foundational ingredient is turmeric, specifically its active compound, curcumin. Your retina is under constant oxidative siege. Every single photon of light that strikes your retinal cells triggers a tiny biochemical reaction that produces reactive oxygen species, molecular sparks that damage cell membranes, proteins, and DNA. Over decades, this accumulated oxidative damage is one of the primary mechanisms driving age-related macular degeneration, which remains the leading cause of irreversible vision loss in adults over 50 in the developed world. Curcumin is one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatory and antioxidant compounds ever studied, and it has a particular documented affinity for ocular tissue. Research published in Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science demonstrated that curcumin protected retinal ganglion cells, the nerve cells that form your optic nerve, from oxidative damage in a dose-dependent manner. A separate study in the journal Nutrients found that curcumin significantly reduced levels of inflammatory cytokines, including interleukin-6 and TNF-alpha in retinal tissue, both of which are directly linked to macular degeneration progression. But here is the make-or-break fact about curcumin that almost nobody tells you. On its own, it is nearly useless. Standard curcumin has roughly 1% bioavailability when consumed alone. 99% of what you swallow exits your body without ever entering circulation. This is why people say they've tried turmeric and felt nothing. They were consuming it wrong. The solution is black pepper. A compound in black pepper called piperine increases curcumin bioavailability by up to 2,000%. That figure comes from a peer-reviewed study published in Planta Medica, and it has been replicated. Not 20%, not 200%, 2,000. 5 to 10 grinds of black pepper in your warm golden milk, an amount so small you will not taste it, completely transforms curcumin from a functionally useless compound into one of the most bioavailable anti-inflammatory agents you can put in your body. This is non-negotiable. No black pepper means no curcumin absorption, which means no benefit. The second ingredient is one that most golden milk recipes omit entirely, and its absence is the single biggest reason those recipes fall short for genuine eye health: lutein and zeaxanthin. Your macula, the central zone of your retina responsible for sharp, high-resolution vision, contains the highest concentration of two specific carotenoids found anywhere in the human body. Lutein and zeaxanthin together form what researchers call the macular pigment, and they function as your eye's built-in optical filter and antioxidant shield, absorbing damaging blue light wavelengths before they can reach your photoreceptors. Here is the problem. Your body cannot synthesize lutein or zeaxanthin. You must obtain them entirely from your diet, and the vast majority of people are severely deficient. Research published in the British Journal of Ophthalmology found that individuals with the highest macular pigment density had up to 82% lower risk of developing advanced age-related macular degeneration compared to those with the lowest levels. The landmark AREDS-2 clinical trial, funded by the National Eye Institute, confirmed that lutein and zeaxanthin supplementation meaningfully slowed macular degeneration progression in high-risk patients. Because these compounds are fat-soluble, consuming them in a full-fat warm drink before bed, right before your eyes shift into their overnight absorption and repair mode, is the most strategically optimal delivery window you have. Add 10 to 20 milligrams of a quality lutein supplement to your warm drink, stirred in after removing from heat, or blend in a tablespoon of cooked pureed spinach, which is one of the richest natural sources. The third ingredient is the one that even most ophthalmologists are not yet discussing with their patients, and the clinical research behind it is among the most remarkable I have ever reviewed: saffron. The active compounds in saffron, crocin, and quercetin are carotenoids with an extraordinary and highly specific affinity for retinal tissue. A randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial published in Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science, one of the most rigorous study designs that exists, enrolled patients with early age-related macular degeneration and gave them 20 milligrams of saffron daily. After 3 months, those patients showed measurable improvement in visual function as assessed by electroretinography. Their retinal cells were performing better than they had at the start of the study. This is not a finding about slowing decline. This is a finding about actual functional improvement. When the groups were crossed over and the saffron group moved to placebo, the gains began to reverse. The effect was real. It was specific to saffron, and it was attributable to crocin and quercetin's documented ability to protect photoreceptors from light-induced oxidative damage and support the function of the retinal pigment epithelium, the exact cells conducting your eye's overnight repair work. 2 to 3 threads of saffron crumbled into your warm milk delivers a clinically relevant dose and adds a subtle, complex flavor that genuinely elevates the drink. The fourth ingredient is cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon specifically, and its inclusion is about something that most people never connect to their eye health: blood sugar. High blood glucose is one of the most destructive forces acting on ocular tissue. Diabetic retinopathy, damage to the blood vessels of the retina caused by chronically elevated blood sugar, is the leading cause of blindness in working-age adults worldwide. But even in people without diabetes, blood sugar fluctuations cause a process called glycation, where glucose molecules bind to and damage proteins throughout the body. Inside your eye, glycation accelerates lens clouding, stiffens and damages retinal blood vessels, and degrades the delicate cells of the macula. Your blood sugar naturally fluctuates during the overnight fasting period. Ceylon cinnamon has been shown in multiple clinical trials to improve insulin sensitivity and reduce postprandial blood glucose. A meta-analysis in the Journal of Medicinal Food confirmed that cinnamon supplementation significantly reduced fasting blood glucose levels. Half a teaspoon in your bedtime drink helps stabilize your blood sugar through the night, meaning your retinal vasculature spends fewer hours bathed in a high-glucose environment, reducing one of the most common and most overlooked sources of chronic ocular damage. The fifth component is not a separate ingredient, but a mechanism you are activating with the warm milk itself: the tryptophan-melatonin pathway. Warm milk contains tryptophan, the amino acid precursor to serotonin and subsequently melatonin. A review in the journal Nutrients confirmed the tryptophan-melatonin conversion pathway and its significance for both sleep quality and antioxidant activity. Research in the Journal of Pineal Research found that melatonin levels in the aqueous humor, the fluid inside the eye, are significantly elevated at night, and that this elevation corresponds directly with the eye's repair cycle. Lower systemic melatonin has been associated with higher rates of macular degeneration. By drinking warm milk as your base, you are actively supporting your body's melatonin synthesis right before the window when that melatonin is most needed for ocular protection. Here is the exact recipe. Gently warm 1 cup of full-fat dairy milk or full-fat unsweetened coconut milk to approximately 150 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, never boiling, because excessive heat degrades the bioactive compounds. Add 1 teaspoon of high-quality turmeric powder, standardized to 95% curcuminoids. Add 5 to 10 grinds of black pepper. This is non-negotiable for absorption. Crumble in 2 to 3 threads of saffron. Add half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. Whisk everything together until fully combined. Remove from heat, then stir in your Lutein supplement, 10 to 20 milligrams, and a small drizzle of raw honey if desired for sweetness. Drink this 30 to 45 minutes before bed. That timing is intentional. It gives the fat-soluble compounds 30 to 45 minutes to begin entering your bloodstream right as you are falling asleep and your eyes are shifting into active repair mode. Now I need to be equally honest with you about what not to do, because 4 bedtime drink habits that are extraordinarily common are actively working against your eye health every single night. Alcohol before bed depletes glutathione, your body's master antioxidant, through a direct competing metabolic process, sending your retina into its repair cycle with its most powerful defense system compromised. A study in JAMA Ophthalmology found regular alcohol consumption was associated with increased risk of age-related macular degeneration. Evening caffeine suppresses melatonin production and fragments your deep sleep architecture. Since melatonin is one of your retina's primary nighttime antioxidants, suppressing it directly impairs the repair cycle your eyes depend on. Sugary drinks, juices, sodas, sweetened teas, spike blood glucose right at the moment your retinal vasculature should be resting, driving a glycation wave through the most delicate blood vessels in your body. And drinking nothing at all, while generally sound advice for digestion, leaves your eyes entering their most important repair window without the fat-soluble nutrients they are specifically trying to pull from your circulation overnight. I want to close by being completely honest with you about expectations, because this is where a lot of health content fails people. You will not see better tomorrow morning. That is not how biology works. The research on saffron showed measurable retinal improvement at the 3-month mark. Lutein and zeaxanthin macular pigment density studies show meaningful increases over 4 to 6 months of consistent intake. Curcumin's anti-inflammatory effects build and compound over weeks and months. This is a long-game strategy. The patients I see in my practice in their 70s and 80s with the sharpest vision, the clearest lenses, and the healthiest maculas have one thing in common. They have been doing the right things consistently for decades. Not perfectly, consistently. Start tonight, make this drink, make it again tomorrow night. Let it become as automatic as brushing your teeth, because your eyes are already working through every night to repair themselves. All you are doing with this drink is giving them exactly what they need to do that job properly. If this video gave you something genuinely useful, and I believe it did, please give it a like right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps this information reach more people who genuinely need it. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because every single week I bring you research-backed, clinically grounded information designed to help you make smarter decisions about your long-term health. And share this video, especially with someone you care about who has a family history of macular degeneration, cataracts, or glaucoma. These are the people this information can most help, and they may never find it on their own. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of those eyes. Every sleeping second matters.